From Crittenton's tale of firearms to Artest's scuffles, NBA players sometimes ruin their careers all by themselves by making wrong decisions. And in today's video, I'll be mentioning all these players. First on the list is Lamar Odom. The former NBA player had a successful career in the league, but also had many off-court issues that contributed to his decline and eventual departure from the NBA. Odom struggled with drug addiction throughout his career, and his substance abuse issues eventually led to several suspensions and a decline in his performance on the court. In 2013, he was arrested for driving under the influence of drugs, which led to his release by the Los Angeles Clippers. Odom's personal life wasn't a smooth sail as well. He was involved in a high-profile divorce from reality TV star Khloe Kardashian, which received much media attention and may have affected his focus on the game. Odom was a talented player, I won't deny it, but he was also really inconsistent on the court. He often had stretches of good play, followed by periods of poor performance, which made it difficult for teams to rely on him. And eventually, his off-court issues led to him leaving the league and pursuing other opportunities.
I never gambled heavy like that. What else y'all doing? I'm out the NBA.
Still, it's not as worse as this next player, who was a hotshot in his early days, but I can't say the same for the rest. It's Stephen Jackson. His story was one of the NBA's early success stories. Jackson bounced around the world before signing with the New Jersey Nets in 2000. He was known for his outspoken personality and involvement in various controversies off the court, including an incident in which he was involved in a fight outside a strip club. These distractions obviously affected his focus and commitment to the game. His involvement in Malice at the Palace, and if you also add ego in the mix, led to him playing for 7 different teams over the next 10 years. Even his former team, the San Antonio Spurs, released him before the playoffs, and after that, he played 9 games for the Los Angeles Clippers before retiring. That's just sad. Though not as sad as this next player who thought bringing guns was cool. And it's not. It's Javaris Crittenton, people, a former NBA player who the NBA suspended in 2010 for violating the league's firearms policy. The suspension resulted from an incident in which Crittenton and his teammate Gilbert Arenas had a confrontation in the Washington Wizards locker room. Crittenton reportedly had a gun with him during the altercation, which led to both players being suspended indefinitely by the NBA. He was later charged with a felony gun possession offense and pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge. He was sentenced to probation and community service. The incident seriously affected Crittenton's career, and the Wizards eventually waived him. So kids, stay away from guns. And on that note, I'll turn a page and continue this list with the next player in line, Antoine Walker. 8-Ball had a successful career. He's still regarded as having the best shimmy ever. Walker's career sadly was cut short at the age of 31. Despite earning over $110 million in salary during his NBA career, Walker filed for bankruptcy in 2010. He was known for his lavish spending and reportedly gave away large sums of money to friends and family members, contributing to his financial troubles. To make matters worse, Walker was also arrested on several occasions during his career, including an incident in which he was charged with suspicion of drunk driving, and another in which he was charged with writing bad checks. And then, towards the end of his career, Walker struggled with his weight, which affected his performance on the court. He was criticized for being out of shape and was eventually traded to several teams before retiring in 2012. His off-court issues eventually led to him leaving the league and facing significant financial and personal challenges. Walker did attempt to return to the league through the D-League, but it was too late. Walker is now a motivational speaker who warns others not to fall in the same trap he did. A tragic but redemptive story. I mean, good for him. He found something else he's good at. Maybe this next player should have taken the advice and went for the UFC instead of the NBA. I mean, he loved to stir fights. It's Metta World Peace. Formerly known as Ron Artest, was a basketball player for the Indiana Pacers when he participated in the infamous Palace Brawl on November 19, 2004. During a game against the Detroit Pistons, a fight broke out between players after Pistons center Ben Wallace shoved Artest following a foul. Artest was suspended for the remainder of the season. That's 86 games in total, and lost over $5 million in salary as a result. He also faced criminal charges for assault and battery, but eventually reached a plea agreement and was sentenced to community service. The Palace Brawl is considered one of the most notorious notorious incidents in NBA history. Artest's role in the melee is often cited as a prime example of poor sportsmanship and bad behavior. You thought that was it? Well, you're mistaken. Crazy Pills, who was once lying on the scorer's table, then jumped into the stands to confront a fan who had thrown a cup at him. This sparked a full-scale brawl that involved players and fans alike. Artest punched a fan who had come onto the court and was eventually restrained by teammates and security. Yikes! The dude needed to chill. Thankfully, he is now. While doing side quests, Ron has built quite an impressive reality show competition resume. Still, his story is way better than this next player who just makes it go yikes. DeShawn Stevenson. When Stevenson was a rookie, he was accused of abuse. The woman claimed that Stevenson had assaulted her while intoxicated and could not consent. The alleged incident took place in 2015, and the woman filed a lawsuit against Stevenson in 2018. Stevenson denied the allegations and claimed that the encounter was consensual. The case was eventually settled out of court for an undisclosed amount, and he did not admit any wrongdoing as part of the settlement. DeShawn Stevenson had more troubles in line. He was arrested for public intoxication in 2011 in Irving, Texas. The 41-year-old was taken into custody by the police after he was found passed out in an apartment complex. According to the police report, Stevenson was extremely intoxicated and unable to take care for himself. He was taken to a local jail and booked on a misdemeanor charge of public intoxication. He was later released on bail and did not face any further legal consequences for the incident. This incident was pretty embarrassing for the jersey number 92. Stevenson was a decent NBA player, but his off-court issues eventually made him a headache for his teams. Quite a rough story, right? Yeah, but still not as bad as this next person who will make you question how a Hall of Fame player ends up on this list. Dennis Rodman won 5 NBA championships and NBA Defensive Player of the Year twice, and he led the league in rebounding 7 times. I know that, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows throughout his career. His off-the-court problems stunted it. Rodman had been arrested several times over the years for various offenses, including domestic violence, drunk driving, and assault. In 2000, he was sentenced to community service after pleading guilty to drunk driving. Rodman has also openly struggled with substance abuse issues, including alcohol and drug addiction. In his autobiography, he wrote about his struggles with alcoholism and his attempts to get sober. If that wasn't too much, some of his former partners have also accused him of domestic violence. Sheesh! The former NBA player is infamously known for his controversial behavior on and off the court, including his flamboyant style, outspoken personality, and willingness to push boundaries. He has been criticized for his relationships with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Russian President Vladimir Putin, as well as his comments about race and politics. Someone needs to manage this guy. Well, that's all on the NBA players who killed their careers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.